Hello students, welcome to the first lecture on the lecture series on averages. Okay, so this is the lecture 1. So in this lecture what we'll be covering is we'll be covering some basic concepts and types of problems on averages. Okay, what kind of concepts are being asked regularly on various competitive exams on the topic averages, and we'll also talk about some type of problems that are actually being asked there. Okay, so let's go forward and start this lecture. So what is average? So average is a tool that provides us an insight into the patterns or simplifying enormous sets of data into a single digestible figure. Okay. So what it converts is it converts many data to one figure or one data. Okay. That we can cumulatively talk about it. So evaluating the performance of students in a class, estimating budgets in business, understanding public opinion, elections, and average is obnoxious. Okay. So there are basically 10 type of concepts that we will be discussing. Okay, calculating average. Okay, how to calculate average? If you are given a large data set or small data set, how can you calculate their average? So the second type of topic will be impact of new data. Okay, so let's say you have some average of a data set. So what will happen if I throw two new data set into it? Two new data, okay, or three new data, or another data set, okay, that needs to be accumulated there. So how it will impact the already calculated average? Okay, so we'll also talk about the missing values. Okay, so if you have a data set and there are some missing values, okay, and you know their average, so how to calculate them? Okay, that kind of concept. So weighted averages, what are weighted averages, how they are different from average? Okay, basic average. Okay, we'll also learn that. So we'll also learn averages in data interpretation. Okay, in data interpretation, what averages mean or how they work there. And we'll also finding the total. Okay, let's say you are given that the number of index in a data set is 70 and their average is something like 60. Then find the total. Okay, how can you find? There is a formula involved in it. Okay, we'll derive it in this part. Okay, so in the seventh part, what we'll do is we'll discuss speed, distance, and time problems and mark distribution. Okay, how it is crucial in teacher's perspective. Okay, when judging a class performance. Okay, so the ninth kind of topic will be on income and expenditure. Okay, so how income and expenditure are calculated via averages. Okay, and averages in surveys. Okay, this is also an crucial subtopic in this average topic. Okay, so let's see the first kind of topic, that is calculating average. So to calculate the average of a given data set, what we can do is we can sum all the numbers and then divide it by total count of numbers. So you have what? Values added from all index by number of index. Okay, number of indexes. Okay, indexes. So this is the total count of numbers and this is the sum of all numbers. Okay, so if you have a given data set that is 1, so let's say you have 3 students, first, second, and third. Okay, their weight is 20, 25, and 22 kg respectively. Okay, so how much is their average weight? So average weight is how many index are there? 1, 2, and 3 index are there. Okay, so by 3. And how much is their cumulative weight? Cumulative weight will be 20 plus 25 plus 22, right? So this is nothing but what? This is 45 plus 22, that is 67 by 3. So this will be something like 22.333 is equal to 22.3 bar. Okay, so this is the average. Okay, so we calculated average. So average is equal to sum of all numbers, that is we sum of all the numbers and divided by the total count of numbers, right? So what is impact of new data? When additional data is added or existing data is modified, the understanding how new data affects the average is important problem solving. Okay, so let's take again that example, that is you had a first student, second student, and third student, right? It weighted like 25 kg, it weighted 20 kg, and the third one weighted 22 kg, right? Let's say we have another student, that is fourth student. Okay, and its weight is 15 kg. Okay, So then how will it affect the overall structure of average? So now according to the formula, number of index is equal to 1, 2, 3 and 4. So 4 number of indexes are there and their cumulative weight will be what? 25 plus 20 plus 22 plus 15. Okay. So it will be what? It will be 2045. So 67 plus 15 by 4 is equal to 82 by 4. So this will be 20.5, right, kg. So the average came down. Okay, why? Because the fourth student that was added to the list have less weight than the average. So previously what was the average? The average was something like 22.3, right? Because the new child have what, 15 kilo weight. So that is lower than the average, right? That's why the whole average came down to from 22.3 to 20.5. But let's see another case where the fourth child is have more weight than the average of the previous data. Okay, so previously, so let fourth one weighs something like 25 kg, right? So if it weighs 25 kg or 23 kg, let's say 23 kg, so how much will be the cumulative? So it will be 4 and 67 plus 23, right? So this will be the new data. So it will be nothing but 70 plus 20 is equal to 90 by 4, right? That is equal to 45 by 2 is equal to 22.5, right? So from 22.3, it increased to 22.5. Okay. So there is an increment. Why? Because the new data that we added had actually its individual value in weight greater than the previously calculated average value. That was 22.3, but here we have added 23. Okay, that is like 0.7 kilo higher. Okay, so that is how it has been distributed, and this became the new average. Okay, so we can see that impact of new data varies. Okay, if the new data given, okay, have average less than the already calculated average, then the average goes down. Okay, and if it is greater, then the average goes up. Okay, we have seen it using two examples. Okay, so let's go forward. So missing values. So when the average and other data points are given, that is the total distance by total time taken is equal to average speed. Okay, because that is how we calculate average speed. So weighted averages. So what is weighted averages and how it is different from average? Okay, so weighted average is an average in which each number in the data set has weight attached to it. Okay, it has different criteria, that is different priority. Okay, so this weight represents the importance of the particular value, ensuring that some values influence the average more than the others. Okay, so let's see. So the formula for weighted average is sum of value into weight. Okay, all the sum of values into weights and the total number of weights. Okay, so it will be summation I is equal to 1 to n wi into xi, that is the sum of values, weight, and this is value, right? And in the denominator what we have is the sum of weights. So weighted average is where xi is equal to xi is the each value in the data set, wi is the each weight corresponding to each value in the data set, that is xi. Okay, so n is the number of values in that data set. Okay, so let's see the fifth kind of concept, that is the averages in data interpretation. So averages often appear in data interpretation questions such that calculating the average score of a group, okay, average temperature or average revenue. So finding total. So given the average and the total count of numbers, candidate may be asked to find the sum of the numbers in the data set. So sum of all the numbers is equal to average into number of candidates or the total count of numbers. Okay. So if you are given like 15 students with average weight as 5, then how much is their cumulative weight? So cumulative or total weight is equal to 5 into 15 is equal to 75. Okay, so let's see the seventh kind of concept, that is speed, distance and time problem. Okay, so this is nothing but the use of this formula, that is time taken is equal to what? Total number of distance by average speed. Okay, so averages are actually used to calculate the average speed time taken for a journey involving different speed of times. Okay, so let's say you went from A to B, then B to C, right? First you went to A to B and you went to A to C. Okay, so how you can calculate the total time taken? You can calculate the total distance by average speed. Or how can you calculate the average speed? You can calculate the average speed by total distance by total time. Okay, so let's see the kind of concept that is being used by teachers very often to judge the performance of the class. So finding the average marks, the number of students above or and below the average, or the required score achieve a certain average or not. Okay, so total marks is equal to average marks into number of students, and average marks is equal to total cumulative marks, right, whole by number of students. So the ninth kind of concept involves income and expenditure. So averages may be used to find the average income or expenditure of a group of people. Okay, so average income or expenditure is nothing but total income or expenditure. So number of individuals. So average income is nothing but total income by number of individuals involved in that total income. Okay, so let's say you have a family involving A, B, C. Okay, A has an income of 1 lakh per annum. Okay, and B have 3 lakh per annum, and C have 5 lakh per annum. Okay, then what is their average income? So average income is nothing but total income, that is 1 plus 3 plus 5 lakh whole by total number of members is equal to 3 is equal to what? 5 plus 3 is equal to 8 plus 1 is equal to 9. So 9 by 3 is equal to 3. So 3 lakh per annum is the average income. Okay, in this case, for this example. So let's see the 10th kind of example, that is averages in surveys. So survey data may be presented in terms of averages. Okay, so candidates may be asked to analyze or draw conclusions based on the average values. So average rate is equal to what? Total quantity by total time. Okay, so if you want to calculate the average rate, what you can do is you can add the total quantities, okay, and then you divide it by total time. So let's see the type of questions that are being involved in averages topic. Okay, so calculating average, okay, impact of new data, missing value, weighted average, averages in data interpretation, speed, distance and time problem, mark distribution, income and expenditure, marks above and below average, averages in surveys. Okay, so let's see the first kind of question, that is finding the average of a given set of numbers. So let's find out. So find the average of 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. So 10 plus 15 plus 20 plus 25 plus 30. Okay, so the number of indexes is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it is 5, right? So this will be equal to what? 20, 25 is equal to 45. And this is 25, 45 plus 25 is equal to 70 plus 30 is equal to 100 by 5 is equal to 20. So 20 must be the answer. So what we do first is we add up all the amounts, okay, representing the indexes. So dividing the sum by the total count, so 100 divided by 5, because the number of index is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, there are 5 indexes. So we divide by number of indexes, that is equal to 20. So average becomes 20. Okay, so the type of question is second type of question is impact of new data. So determining the new average when a new number is added to or removed from the set. Okay, so let's see an example. So if a number 40 is added to the previous set, so what will be the new average? Okay, so added to the new number to the previous sum, that is 100. Okay, previously we have calculated 100 and this is 40, so 140 becomes new, and the total number of index will be what? 5 plus 1 is equal to 6. Okay, so 140 by 6 will be the what? Average. Okay, so this is nothing but 3 and 70. So 3 by 70, that is what? 23.333 or 23.33 bar. Okay, so the calculating the new average is 140 by 6, that is total cumulative count by count of indexes, that is 23.33. So this is the correct answer. So let's see the third kind of problem, that is on missing value. So finding a missing number from a set when average and other data points are given. So the average of 4 number is 25. So 3 of the numbers are 20, 25 and 30. So find the fourth number. Okay, if we are given the average, okay, that is what, 25. So we can calculate, we can multiply 25 into 4 to get the total cumulative count. That is equal to 100 actually in this case. Okay, so we are given 20, 25 and 30. So 100 minus 20 minus 25 minus 30. So what we are left with is 45 minus 30 is equal to minus 75. So minus 25 plus 25 is the answer, right? So calculate the sum of the three known numbers, that is 75, and 100 minus 75 is equal to what? 25. So 25 is the missing value. Okay, missing value is 4 into 25 minus 75 is equal to 100 minus 75 is equal to 25. So the missing number will be 25. So let's see the fourth kind of question, that is weighted averages. So calculating the weighted average when numbers have different weights. Okay, so we have discussed its theory, okay, and how it's relevant. Let's see an example to get a better gist at it. So the average marks of a student in 3 subjects is 80, 90 and 70. Okay, so with respective weights 2, 3 and 4. So find the weighted average. So how we can find the weighted average? Okay, so weighted average formula was what? Sigma I is equal to 1 to 3 Wi into xi whole by sigma I is equal to 1 to 3 Wi. So this is equal to what? This will be weight. Weight is 2. 2 of what? 2 is weight of 80 plus 3 into 90 plus 4 into 70 whole by 2 plus 3 plus 4. 2 plus 3 plus 4. And this will be nothing but what? So this will be 160 plus 9 into 3, so 270 plus 7 into 4 is equal to 280 by, so this will be 7 plus 2 is equal to 9. Okay, so the solution will be, so 60 plus 270 is equal to 330. So 430 plus 280. So 430 plus 200 is equal to 630 plus 80 is equal to 710 by 9. Okay, so calculating the sum, that is marks into weights for each subject. Okay, the cumulative sums that we want to calculate. So it will be 160 plus 270 plus 280, that is equal to 710 as we have previously calculated. So adding the weights, so 2 plus 3 plus 4 is equal to what? 9, right? So calculate the weighted average, that is weighted average is equal to 710 by 9. So 78.89. So rounded to 2 decimal places, the weighted average is approximately what? 78.89. So let's see the fifth kind of question, that is averages in data interpretation. So analyzing data tables or charts involving averages. So in a data table showing the scores of 10 students, find the average score. So student S1 is equal to 80, S2 scores 85, S3 90, 70, 95 for 3rd, 4th and 5th respectively, and the 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th score 75, 85, 88, 92 and 78 respectively. Okay, so let's calculate their average. Okay, so 80 plus 85 plus 90 plus 70 plus 95 plus 75 plus 85 plus 88 plus 92 plus 78 is equal to 838. So dividing the sum by what? The total number of indexes, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So the number of indexes is 10 here. So 838 by 10 is equal to what? It is 83.8 in decimal. So the average of that student is 83.8 in all the 3 subjects. But the thing to remember here is this average is not the normal average. It is the weighted average with respect to, no, this is the normal average. Okay, in the previous example what we saw was the weighted average. Okay, so this kind of data set will be given to you and you need to calculate the average. So you will calculate it by this kind of methods. Okay, so the total average score is 83.8. So let's see the sixth kind of problem, that is on speed, distance and time problem. So solving these problems involves actually average speed and time taken in the journeys. So a car covers the first 60 km at an average speed of 40. Okay, and the next 40 km at an average speed of 50. Okay, and then find the average speed of the entire journey. So calculating the total distance covered. So total distance is equal to 60 km plus 40 km, that is equal to 100 km, right? So calculating the total time taken for each part of the journey. Okay, so distance by speed is equal to 60 by 40. So it will be 1.5 hours. So time taken for the next 40 kilometer is distance by speed again. So 40 by 50 kilometers. So this is 0.8 hours. Okay, so calculating the total time taken will be 1.5 is plus 0.8 is equal to 2.3 hours, right? So calculating the average speed is equal to what? Total distance by total time. So 100 kilometer is the cumulative distance and the cumulative time became 1.5 plus 0.8 is equal to 2.3. So 100 by 2.3 is nothing but 43.48 kilometer per hour. So the average speed of the car is 43.48 kilometer per hour. So the average speed at which the car went for the entire journey is approximately 43.48 kilometer per hour. So let's see the seventh type of problem. Seventh type of question, that is on mark distribution. The kind that is actually crucial for all the teachers, because that is how they can analyze the average and tell that a student is performing above average or below average. That is he performing like the others or he is performing below average. So analyzing marks distribution and calculating average marks. So in a class of 25 students, the marks scored in the test are as follows: as 10 students scored 80 marks, 8 students scored 90 marks, and the rest scored 70 marks. So calculating the average marks. So class had total 25 students. So 10 students went for 80 marks. So 800 marks for 10 students, and 8 students scored 90. So it will be 720 marks, right, for that 8 students. So how many students are remaining? Minus 10 minus 8 is equal to, this is 18. So this will be 7, right? So all the 7 students, the rest scored 70 marks. So 7 into 70. That is nothing but 490. So this much by 25, right? So this will be what? 800 plus 720 is equal to 1520 plus 490 plus 500 will be what? 2020. So plus 490 is equal to 2010 by 25. So this is 800, 720, and this is 720. So this is 7. So this is what? This is minus 18, 25. So this is 7, right? So 7 into 70 is not 350. This is 490. So the answer will be what? 2010 by 25. So this is the final answer. So let's see the 8th kind of question, that is on income and expenditure. So solving the problems related to average income and expenditure of a group. So Nisha's monthly income is nothing but 5,000. So she spends 30% of her income on the rent and 20% on the groceries. So how much does she left after her expenses? So calculating the amount spent on rent and groceries. So the rent expense is 30% of her salary. That is her monthly income. So 30% of 5,000 is equal to what? 0.30 times 5,000, because 30% decimal form is 0.30. So this is nothing but 1,500. So grocery expense will be 20% of the 5,000. That is 0.20 times 5,000. That is 1,000. Why did we multiply to the 0.20? Because the decimal form of 20% is 0.20. So in step 2, what we do is we calculate the remaining amount. So remaining amount is what? Income minus expenditure. So expenditure is rent expense plus grocery expense. So 5,000 minus 1,500, that is the rent expense, and the grocery expense is 1,000. So 2,500 is the remaining amount. So this is the amount of savings. So let's see the 9th kind of problem, that is on marks above and below averages. So determining how much an individual's marks are above or below the class average. So in a school, the average marks of a class is 40 students are 65. Average mark is 65. If the student named Mary scored 90 marks, how much above or below the average did she scored? Let's see. So calculating the difference between Mary's score and the average. So Mary's score is 90 and the average was 65, so 25. So Mary actually scored 25 marks above than the average. So the 10th kind of question is analyzing the average in surveys. So analyzing survey data presented in terms of averages. So in a survey of a school, so we conducted a survey in a school. So the average score in math test was, for class A it was 75, for class B it was 85, for class A. If class A has 30 students and class B has 40 students, what is the average score of the entire school. Okay, so class A's average score was 75 into 30, and class B's average score was 85, and the number of students in class B is equal to 40. So this much amount by 40 plus 30. So this will be what? So this will be 75 into 30 is equal to 2250, and 85 into 40 is equal to 3400. So it will be total score of the school will be total score of for class A and total score for class B. So 2250 plus 3400 is equal to 5650. Okay. So calculate the average score for the entire school. So average score for the school will be total score for school by total number of students. It will be 5650 by 70 is equal to 80.71 approximately. So the average score for the entire school is approximately 80.71. So that's all for now. Thank you.